question is, what act of courage is life going to ask of you in the next 6 months? And how are you going to respond? Wow, let's have a conversation about that. What kind of decisions does your company have to make in the next 6 months? And how is it going to perform? And what does it need to perform? And what does it need from its people? And how will they respond? Those are high-powered conversations. The next question then is, we call ethics. What's right and wrong? What's justice? What's right? What's moral in this world? We fight wars about that. What do you mean by ethics?
Yeah.
And another word for that is belonging. You know, how do we feel that we belong? I'm part of this. I'm not an outsider. I'm not a slave. I'm not an expatriate. I'm part of in-group. That's ethics. How do we deal with that? That's relationships. All kinds of relationships. Most of life is about relationships. They don't work. They're so difficult. We don't understand them, and we have to have all this help, medicine, pills, tranquilizers, injections, drugs, psychiatrists, priests, all kinds of people to deal with relationships. You know, what is the essence of that? And how's your marriage? How are things in your marriage right now? You know, how are your relationships with your children? How are they growing up really? What kind of men or women are they going to make? What's going on with education in your life? You know, all of those very sensitive questions. You know, my great friend Dr. Heuscher, psychiatrist, well, how are things in your marriage today? Shut up. You know, this is not a question that I'm about to discuss with anyone. You know, and so on. So there are deep issues, and if you ask, you can get people into a lot of very important conversations simply by bringing that in the context of how does it work in sales, how does it work in promotions, how does it work in bonuses, how does it work on the stock market, on and on and on and on. You know, those all relationship questions. Trust, oh, fantastic. That's the second. You need to have courage to be able to trust. Then we get to the third set of questions, which have to do with what's real. That's, in the first place, you have your identity, courage. Yeah. In the second place, you have your belonging, ethics. In the third place, you have your security. Where's the money coming from? You know, that's very important. What's about economics in nations, poverty? You know, that is the reality corner. That's where we call it in California, we say the avocado hits the fan. You know, it makes a big mess of the whole room, you know. That's really a disgusting thing, but that's reality, you know. Reality says to you, no. Now, what's your question? Okay? You go someplace, get away. We don't want you. We don't like you. Now, what do you want from us? That's reality. Reality is tough, difficult, and it takes courage and decency, ethics, to face reality the way it needs to be faced. Face reality with strength, with patience, with morality. And we have Gandhi and Martin Luther King and other people like that to be symbols of facing and Mandela, and, you know, to face the difficulty, the ugliness, the hardness of reality with character. Okay?
Yeah, fantastic.
Now we have identity, courage in you, powerful.
Yeah.
Addressing the questions of decency. I am going to be a fair, decent human being. Decent, fair human being. Okay, so the summary of the 4 points looks like this. We start with courage. I am determined to succeed. Nothing is going to break me down. That's my resolve. And that gives me an identity. And I'm going to first use that on ethics. I am going to be a damn decent human being. I'm going to be a good person. Nobody is going to make me deviate from my fundamental sense of justice and fairness, human decency. That matters. And then when I have made a commitment to human decency, I belong. Then I feel I belong, and I let people feel that they belong with me. Okay, we're one.
Yeah.
And then we face reality. With that courage and ethics in my heart, we move to reality. And reality usually is tough, difficult. It's economics. It destroys things. It opposes things. It's competition. It's defeat. It's failure. It's also success. But it's very hard to deal with reality. It's money, mostly. For most people, it's money and health and aging and a society that is at peace and that doesn't oppress me. All of those things are in reality, and that's maybe the most important point that we have to deal with is reality. And so reality means security. Means my children will have an education. It means that there will be food on the table. I will have a doctor when I am in pain, or when my child is being born. There will be someone to help out with the birth, and so on. There will be the security. We're not at war. We're not being shot at, and all of that. And there's a government that is in control of things and isn't falling apart, and can have a just society for all of us, and so on. And so that is security. And those are the key issues, and we have endless questions about that, and we have to translate all of that so that people on the plant floor can have those questions dealt with and addressed. And if these questions are addressed, we're okay. And then the last question is vision. And we put the power that we invest in courage, the power that we invest in reality, the power that we invest in ethics, and the reality, and the courage and ethics that we invest in reality, we now all apply all of that to vision. And vision is what we see in the future, what we hope for, what we plan for, what's ahead. That's in many ways where we're going. We're all going into the future. And that means achievement. We're going to achieve something that will make us proud and will honor us and will give us honor, and we will be happy that we got to where we were. And if we're going to have to be assassinated as a result of that, or be poor, then so be it. We want to be wealthy. We want to make sure other people have wealth as well. We want to do well in financially. It's very important, but in every other way as well. We want to be successful. We want to be artists, maybe, whatever the case. What's our vision? Where are we going? Where is the promised land that we want to get at? Those are the four sets of questions. The vision questions, the courage questions, the ethics questions, and the reality questions that form the full body of tools that we need in order to make us work in the world and make the world help us work in ourselves. If you run a business, you want people to work well, you have to attend to all of those four issues every day and ask yourself, how are those questions being answered? How are they working? Is anything being ignored? Are people not able to deal with those questions? And also from the subjective point of view, you have to feel that I have all of those things in order, attend to them in my world. Am I paying attention to that in my world? If I don't, then the world will fail, because I will be guaranteed, if I don't pay attention to even one corner, there's going to be a crash. And if there is a crash, it's because at least one corner has been ignored. And that's a rule of the universe. If I ignore one of these corners, I will have a train crash. And if I have a train crash, or something less even, it's because one of those points has been ignored, and I better find out quickly. And they're ignored because I don't think they're important. They're ignored because I don't think they're worth very much. I ignore because I'm ignorant. They don't interest me. Watch it. I'm not interested in ethics. That's going to be the end of you. I'm not interested in I'm not interested in the stock market. Well, that will be your downfall, etc., etc., etc.